views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Welcome. My name is Marika Scott McFadden, and I'm the Deputy Borough President. I get to be the Deputy Borough President in the Bronx. I am here with you all today to celebrate Black History Month. And for us in the Bronx, we know that Black history and culture has a lot of roots in this borough. It is something that we've celebrated with not just words, but our exercise and our lives every day. And in a time like we're going through to now with the pandemic that we're all working through, the Bronx has really felt its toll. And it's time this month, in Black History Month, that we have an opportunity to celebrate those who are humbly making moves in Black history, and in American history, and certainly here in the Bronx. So we want to thank you, and I ask that we give a round of applause to our honorees who are going to be honored today. I want to acknowledge Senior Vice President, Senior Vice President, Government Affairs, Marcos Crespo and staff, and I had a long introduction, but that was part of my 3-hour speech. So I'm just going to say, my friend, Marcos Crespo, let's please give him a hand and thank him for all his work. And then my last job is to introduce the next speaker, Dr. Gordon Tomaselli, who's going to come up here and have a few words on behalf of Bronx.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for coming under circumstances that we wish were different. But in fact, every opportunity that we can get to celebrate Black History Month and do many of the things that we've been doing over the course of the month, I think are an occasion for celebration, and particularly when we're celebrating members of our community who've really gone above and beyond. Many of us have the opportunity to work from home. Most of the folks who are being honored today don't have that opportunity. They had to physically be here on the ground, and for that we are forever grateful. So I want to welcome everybody here today, and I think we should just move ahead to celebrate the 4 honorees who are going to recognize today.
And to that end, I'd like to bring up to the stage your friend and mine, our Deputy Borough President, Ruben Diaz Jr.
Well, to Dean Tomaselli, Dr. Tomaselli, thank you for having us here today. To all of the family here at Montefiore, we appreciate it. It's a lovely space, and during this month, during Black History Month celebration, normally what we would do at Borough Hall, either at Borough Hall or in a venue such as this one, this is where we would celebrate the past contributions of those in the Black community who have made this country at least a little bit better, who have fought the good fight, the struggles, those that we read about like MLK and Malcolm X and Rosa Parks and Booker T. Washington and so on and so forth, and those that, unfortunately, we don't read about in our history books unless we really delve in and do our due diligence. The fact is that hopefully during this month and every day, whether you're Black or not, you are teaching young people in your family and in the communities about the contributions from scientists like Benjamin Banneker, scientists like George Crumb, and even one of my favorites is the story of Elijah McCoy. Elijah McCoy is someone who invented this little oil drip for the engines in the locomotive. And it was so efficient and so effective that it allowed for the locomotive to run adequately. Others try to imitate his style. They try to imitate his little gadget, but they often clogged up and failed. And so when the locomotive industry, the train industry in the country, the entrepreneurs wanted to buy this piece, they often said, I want that little piece, that little mechanism, but please give me the real McCoy. And that's, part of our everyday English language. And a lot of our folks, our young folks, don't really understand where that comes from. And so please take the time out to not only celebrate those in the entertainment world, in the music world, in the sports world, but try to continue to instill in our children that they are standing on the shoulders of giants who have really paved the way. And so, which brings me to today, because we live in a historic time, and history is made every single day. Certainly in the Bronx, politically, Marcos, who is now with the Monte family, the deputy borough president, Marika Scott McFadden, my team, we have seen history being made politically. We have the first black speaker of the New York State Assembly, Carl Hastie, that comes from the Bronx. We have the first black district attorney of any of the 62 counties in the state of New York, and Darcel Clark. We've been able to help out individuals like Letitia James become the first black attorney general of the state of New York. And so history is made every day. And during this pandemic, during this time, what we wanted to do is really highlight those of you who collectively make up what we are now calling the essential workers. I believe that you will go down in history as folks, especially in parts of the country like the Bronx, where we were hit pretty hard. Since last March, we were decimated. We got hit really hard by this pandemic. We saw a lot of death. We saw a lot of sickness. I don't have to tell you, Montefiore has seen its fair share. We saw a lot of job loss. We've seen a lot of anxiety and food insecurity. But what we also saw is day in and day out, men and women with their own personal trials and tribulations at home put their lives in danger, not work remotely, come in and do God's work and save lives. And so while we've seen a lot of loss of life, unfortunately what you don't read about, and it's not often reported, is how many more lives were saved in institutions such as this one. And as we continue to highlight the past, as we continue to reflect on the past, it's important that we continue to lay the foundation so that when we are the past, future generations have models and role models to look at. And so our first role model, and I won't read because I know that you all have a lot of work to do, but our first role model here is Dr. Deborah White. And what I will do, I'll read one and then bring up the rest of the folks here, because whether you're black or not, whether you are a woman or not, or male or not, whether you are a doctor or a guard or what have you, if you are part of the Montefiore family, the people that we're honoring today, even though we're honoring them specifically, they are representatives of the entire Monte family. Without a shadow of a doubt, no one can deny that an institution like Montefiore did not step up to the plate in our most dire need and our most dire trying times here in the Bronx. And so, Dr. Deborah White, I don't profess to know what you know or seen what you've seen. I've seen a lot since March. I could only imagine what you've seen and what you went through. And in recognition of your outstanding commitment to the Bronx and the community you serve, on the occasion of our borough's annual celebration of African American history and culture, as chair and division chief of the emergency department of the Jack O. Weiler location on Montefiore, you have served in the community firsthand on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic, showing up to fight this infectious disease and giving Bronxites the best care you can each and every single day. This represents the best of the Bronx has to offer. And for these reasons, Doctor, and for many more that I can't mention here today, nor can I even explain, because we weren't there in those moments that you and other doctors and nurses were there seeing and going through. on behalf of the 1.4 million Bronx residents, I, Ruben Diaz Jr., President of God's Country, where God's work happens here every day, the Boogie Down Bronx, want to salute you. And this goes to you, Dr.
Hello, everyone. I won't be long, but I just want to make sure that I'm not remiss in not thanking everyone that supported us. I thank God, I thank the team that I work with, and that I've been allowed to lead this great team. Thank you.
So, you should know that there are other Bronx institutions who are not with us here today. We'll shout out, first of all, to Blue Cross Blue Shield for helping us underwrite some of this as well. But there are a number of Bronx institutions, the Bronx Zoo and others, who wanted to show their token of gratitude. And there's a nice little gift back there. Okay. Some Bronx goodies there. You'll find it pleasant. We appreciate you, and thank you for doing God's work, like I said earlier.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's an honor.
Thank you.
Everyone.
We want to also recognize a dedicated security guard on Montefiore's team after 33 years of community service and throughout this pandemic. Has shown that fortitude. Our next honoree, it goes to Mr. Richard Assam. How you doing?
Welcome to the Bronx.
I never left.
Yeah.
Say a few words, Richard.
Okay, I just want to thank everyone. This is a wonderful event for me, and I'm cracking up, but I really appreciate it. The bottom of my heart. This goes a long way. And it's good to feel that I have a family at Monty. Thank you very much.
There you go. Richard,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Our next honoree is also a security sergeant on the Montefiore team, and that's none other than Miss Sadie Young.
I just want to say thank everyone. I appreciate this. Y'all just don't know from the bottom of my heart. And I did go through something, but I was here every day. Thank you.
And last but not least, again with the Monty security team, we have Mr. Virgil Robinson.
Not a big speech person, but thank you for the recognition. And I know what it's like going through this because I was sick in March, but I recovered. So thank you again.
Before you leave, I just want all the honorees to take a quick picture. Again, we don't want to belabor this, but just in closing, I want to say that a lot of folks think that the Bronx is sick because we're the poor little old sick borough. What I want folks to know is that a lot of the people who are sick are those who are our working class and our working professionals, who put yourselves on the front line, who got sick, dealt with that sickness yourselves, many of you, and still came back and continued to serve. And whether you felt ill or you had family members, while the rest of the city was thankfully safe at home, there must have been so many nights, if not weeks in a row, where those who were honored here today and so many others felt like you were doing this by yourselves and no one was watching. And so if nothing else, I hope that this today, what it does is that it shows from my office and from the rest of the Bronx that we see you, that we know what you did, that perhaps there were times when you didn't feel like anybody was watching, that anybody appreciated it. And we want to say thank you. We're proud of you. You're our heroes. And maybe not as individuals, but in aggregate. I'm a strong believer that as Black History Month celebrations are celebrated years from now and decades from now, you are all going to be part of the class of individuals that our young people at the time will be reading about. Thank you all. Stay strong. And remember that we couldn't get to everyone. We couldn't get to every doctor. Obviously, we couldn't get to every security person. Couldn't get to every nurse, every other person in the faculty. But we wanted to highlight the four of you. And please let everybody know that you are representative of all of them, and that we appreciate each and every single person in this institution, and so many others that we couldn't get to either, because without you, Lord knows how much worse we would have been off. Maybe that's unfathomable now, but it could have been a whole lot worse. Thank you all, and now the honorees, just take a quick picture with us. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully we got it out of the way. I know you got it. But we wanted to do something.
No.
This is a nice space here, by the way.
So we'll have to.
Yeah, of course.
Congratulations.